High Rock is a very unique location, from the rocky canyons of Rivenspire to the rolling hills of Glenumbra. Even more interesting is its quest potential if we were to see it in the Elder Scrolls 6. And what is up guys, Andrew from the Denman here, and today we'll be going over what we could be seeing from quests in the Elder Scrolls 6 if it were set in the medieval lands of High Rock. There's a lot that could be coming, so if you're excited, make sure you hit that like button and comment what you would want to see from quests in TES 6. Now this video is highly speculative, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. With that being said, we have a lot to go over, so get comfy, grab that bottle of honey brew mead, and let's get right into the video. First thing we need to talk about is the time period that the Elder Scrolls 6 will likely take place in. It is almost certain that we will be seeing it after the time of Skyrim. Elder Scrolls 5 did a lot of the heavy lifting for world building between the time of Oblivion and where it is as of right now. If you didn't know already, every mainstream Elder Scrolls up to the point of Skyrim took place in the Third Era around the same time. Bethesda decided to switch this up and set the Elder Scrolls 5 in the Fourth Era, about 200 years after the Oblivion Crisis and eruption of Red Mountain. That means we were thrown into a world that was in a lot of ways different from what we remember. During this time, we see a crumbling empire with provinces like the Black Marsh and the Somerset Isles seceding from them. The Thalmor became a major political faction within a lot of the southern regions and formed the Third Aldmeri Dominion between the Somerset Isles, Valenwood, and elsewhere. And we even see the rise of a new emperor after the Septim Dynasty with Titus Mede. As you can see, a lot of major events happened during the time between Oblivion and Skyrim, and we could see the culmination of a couple of them happen in the Elder Scrolls 6 if it were set in High Rock. So at the time of the next game, I wouldn't want to see too big of a time jump, just enough where a lot of the major plot points from Skyrim can be put into motion. With that being said, what would the main quest line look like? If we take a look at previous titles, you start to see that all of them have been about the destruction of Tamriel. Bethesda likes the stakes to be high for the main quest, and I doubt they will change that in the Elder Scrolls 6. We don't know what the main story would be like if it was set in High Rock, but it would be likely that it has something to do with the Adamantine Tower because of how prominent it is for the province. The Adamantine Tower is said to be the oldest structure on Tamriel, and it is steeped in a lot of different lore, from the Dureni to the Bretons and even the Aedra themselves. It is said that the tower was used to punish Lorcan for tricking the other Aedra into creating Mundus, or the plane that all of the Elder Scrolls games take place in. There's definitely a lot of mystery surrounding the Adamantine Tower, so if we were to see a game set in High Rock, the main quest would no doubt be centered around this structure. Side quests in the Elder Scrolls 6 is where it gets really interesting because there are a lot of ways they could take it. For starters, a major plot point in Skyrim was a possibility of a second Great War. Seeing how High Rock is found in the northwesternmost part of Tamriel, I doubt it would be that prominent here. That is a major negative for the next game in this province, but it doesn't rule it out completely. There are plenty of other potential side quests that could fill in the gap that a second Great War would have, like a potential war between Hammerfell and High Rock. There is a region within High Rock known as Northern Bunkerai, and what is so good about it is that it is set within two provinces, but is separated by the Bunkerai Pass. This has been used for generations to defend High Rock from Redguard raiders, and a game set in this province will likely have a questline where we defend the pass or be involved in some type of invasion from Bunkerai Pass. Another easy fix for the absence of a second Great War is to lean into the Breton culture heavily. For those who don't know, High Rock is a very medieval fantasy world. There would be a lot of political intrigue here with the amount of kings and noblemen in the region itself. I can really see them having a lot to do with conspiracies, assassinations, and attempts to overthrow each other. This would definitely be something that I would like to see because it is not something that is touched on enough in previous Elder Scrolls games. Continuing on with the idea of kings and noblemen, there is a saying in High Rock, find a new hill, become a king. What if Bethesda were to take it one step further by letting the player build their own castle and become a lord or lady of the province? This would be a fun little side thing to do with all the other things that will no doubt be going on in the game, and you would be able to get your own servants, have to protect your castle, maybe even be able to declare war on other kingdoms. There is a lot of potential here in High Rock for this feature, and if they were to do this, I hope they make it as in-depth as possible. Moving on from the idea of a heavily fantasy-centered theme to the game, there is still so much they can do here, especially with what's located in the province itself. Hrothgar is considered to be the home of the orcs, and it is found in High Rock. Skyrim went a little bit into the culture of orcs, but if we were to see a game set in High Rock, there would no doubt be a lot more here. You would be able to interact with these orc clans and give a different feel compared to the rest of the province, so it would be good if they add an orc faction that you can help or maybe even battle. I would definitely like to see the orcs more fleshed out and them actually having their own region all to themselves. Bethesda certainly has the opportunity to do just that. Skyrim saw the addition of dragons in a big way, and I would like to see them return in some fashion. It would be cool if there is one dragon left and it is a secret boss, or there is a quest to travel into the mountains to fight a dangerous monster. Later you find out it is a dragon who is nested in the mountain. No doubt some dragons would have fled from Skyrim after the defeat of Alduin, and what is right next to Skyrim? High Rock. I wouldn't want it like Skyrim though, with dragons coming out of nowhere all the time. I'd like to have a more memorable experience this time with the possibility of a dragon hunt or something similar. We should only be seeing 1 or 2 dragons at most, because they should not be a main focus for the Elder Scrolls 6 as well. Just a fun little side quest to look back at Skyrim would be a great addition to the game and something fans would love to see. Magic is a big part of the Breton culture, and I imagine there would definitely be a renewed focus in the Elder Scrolls 6. But what would we see from quests or factions surrounding magic in High Rock? Well, there's actually a lot of potential if the player wanted to be an evil mage or necromancer. They could have witch covens the player could join to give a different path to a magical questline than just the Mages Guild. It is said that there are a lot of dark magic groups within High Rock, so we could definitely see a big step up in this area for the Elder Scrolls 6. Vampires and werewolves are a staple to every Elder Scrolls game, and we will no doubt be seeing them in the next one as well. It really depends on how they will be interacted with in the Elder Scrolls 6 that matters. Skyrim took a big leap forward by bringing the Volkihar clan and the companions as werewolves. If we were to see a game set in High Rock, I'd like to see lycanthropes in general getting a major upgrade. There are a lot of different types of were creatures that can be found in High Rock, and I'd like them to all be playable, and maybe even have a faction surrounding them. Werewolves, werebears, and wereboars are all said to inhabit the region of High Rock, and I hope Bethesda improves them overall because there is a lot of potential with lycanthrope factions. Vampires, on the other hand, I thought were done really well in the Dawnguard DLC. I wouldn't want too much to change for them because already High Rock has a lot of potential for vampires lurking throughout the province. We would no doubt get some type of vampire castle, and hopefully we're able to join whatever clan is inside. The final topic I want to discuss is potential DLC questlines that we would get with a game set in High Rock. DLC for games has a lot to do with the longevity for that game, and it is no different for the Elder Scrolls 6. There are a lot of potential locations and storylines Bethesda could take the DLC to. First on the list is the island of Bethany. Located within the Iliac Bay, it is a part of High Rock and ruled over by the city of Daggerfall. They can take a storyline on the island any way they want, like they did with the Dragonborn DLC on Solstheim. There is a lot of potential, especially with the past that is on Bethany, with the War of Bethany between the people of Hammerfell and High Rock. They could continue this between the two provinces and make it a major plot point if they decide to make it post-launch content. There was also an orc presence here during the Second Age, which would bring even more diversity to the location. Bethany has a lot of potential to be involved in a game set in High Rock, and I would like to see it brought into the Elder Scrolls 6. Another possible location would be Stros Mackay, an island controlled by the natives of Hammerfell. With a game set in High Rock, it would give the game even more diversity if you set a DLC in a location that the main inhabitants wouldn't be Breton. It would give the game a different feel to it, seeing how Stros Mackay is a more desert environment compared to High Rock, which is more fertile lands and rolling hills. You would be able to encounter creatures here that you wouldn't see in the main province. With a DLC set in Stros Mackay, you would see the opposite of what High Rock did. It would be the same thing that Solstheim did to Skyrim by giving it plenty of diversity and exploring an entirely different culture. There is a lot of potential when it comes to quests in High Rock, with the possibility of becoming a lord or a war between the Bretons and Redguards. We could see a lot of different things happen in the Elder Scrolls 6, and a game set in the fantasy lands of High Rock would be amazing for quests. But that is all for me now though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment any videos you want to see in the future, and I'll see you all next time.